Welcome to Life on the Wabash, your home for the lighter, brighter, happier side of your community. We'll cover places to go, events to explore, recipes to try, and information that makes your life easier or more fun. Let's dive in. Good morning and welcome to a new season of Life on the Wabash. I'm Lindsay Varamis.
And I'm Coco Stacknick. This show is all about community and connection. From area traditions to that new business in town, we want you to love where you live.
This is also a teaching tool. Boilermakers like Coco are producing this show and getting hands-on TV training in the process.
Coming up, the roar of the engines and a crowd the size of St. Louis. Meet the Purdue grads who keep things moving at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
It's school lunch season. A dietitian explains how to keep things nutritious and delicious, plus how to cope with picky eaters.
What's trending in interior design? A local designer has ideas to warm up our space.
They've got our back. Now here's an opportunity to support them. What On Fire for Our Firefighters is all about.
Wonder and whimsy? The inspiration behind a new children's book and its message for the kids.
Finally, we're busting 10 common myths about obesity, what culture is getting wrong and why it matters.
Life on the Wabash starts now.
Well, the average fan might be familiar with this view of the track.
Really, it's a marathon.
Buckle up.
Is that Erickson trying to make a move?
It's time for a look at the hidden year-round race that makes it possible.
So on race day, we're bigger than the city of St. Louis, and so we're trying to cram all those people into 1,000 acres and then get them home safely, which is no small feat.
It's like conducting an orchestra on a seismic scale. The Indy 500 is the largest single-day sporting event in the world.
Sorry, bud. It's okay.
It's called a Tier 2 event. So on the federal ranking system, we're just below a presidential visit. So we're lucky enough to get a lot of federal assets.
Is it any wonder staff here measure their time not in years, but in Mays?
And makes the pass on Connor Daly.
This is home a lot of the year for me. This has been 8 years of my life working here since graduating from Purdue in 2017.
Louis Kissinger is the general manager of operations at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. His longtime pal, also a Purdue grad, David Leatherman, heads up event personnel, safety, and security.
We're a small staff if you think about it. We're about 200 people across the IndyCar Series and IMS, and we are doing all of it. So they're going on the road, they're coming here, and anything that the fan is engaging with, we have a role in. So where the trash can gets placed, which restrooms are open, all of those tiny little details are things that we scrutinize.
Really, our job is just to let the machine run. Let those people go where they need to go unimpeded, take those pictures, eat that pork tenderloin, get to their seat, enjoy the race, and then leave in a timely manner.
Neither anticipated a career here. Rather, they discovered IMS through the Orr Fellowship. The Early Career Development Program aims to recruit the next generation of business leaders by connecting recent grads to companies throughout the state.
I wasn't sure what I wanted to do when I grew up, even through management at Purdue.
The fellowship is accepting applications through September 26th, while Kissinger and Leatherman look ahead to this month's Speedway highlights.
The IMSA race, our sports car event, is super family friendly. All of the garages and paddocks are wide open, so kids 0 to 100 are going in and walking through right next to race cars.
It's the time of year where we're stuck looking at one of these, wondering what we're going to fill it with that is nutritious, fun, and something they will actually eat. Here to come to the rescue, we have Kara Booth, a clinical dietitian with IU Health Arnett. Lots of things parents are thinking about at this moment, but when it comes to the lunch, what's the number one thing that should be on our minds?
Making it simple, but also nutritious. So there are lots of components to that. You can do a lot of things that the kids like. Lunchables are a big thing, always have been. You can make them yourself using whole grain crackers, and then lean meats like turkey or chicken, more so than things like a beef or a sausage. And then using some real cheeses instead of American cheese are some good strategies. And then using some fruits and vegetables that they might like.
The other component I hear people talking about a lot is getting kids involved in the process. What should we be doing?
So having your kids go with you to the grocery store, plan the meals that they're going to have, Let them pick some things, have them pick out new fruits, new vegetables they haven't tried before. Get them in the kitchen, help prep, help make their lunch. The more involved kids are, there's research out there that shows that kids are more apt to eat new foods.
So Kara, I see you have something that looks like a handy tool for parents.
Yes.
Explain what we're looking at.
So this is my plate. This one is a version for kids. Adults is the same thing, but this has smaller portion sizes. So when we look at my plate, it's designed so that we can look at our own plates and make it similar. It used to be my pyramid, which was really confusing. So my plate makes it much easier. If you notice, they're all divided into 4 and they're not equal. So vegetables and whole grains, the grains are a little bigger, and fruit and meat or protein are a little bit smaller. The size of protein that an average person needs is about the thickness and size of a deck of cards. So that's about 3 to 4 ounces of protein at each meal. So this is a nice way for you to help your kids visualize what exactly they need to have on their plate. Sometimes it doesn't look like that. It looks like pizza, lasagna, a casserole, but what you can see from this is it's lots of color. So I like to steal the phrase from Skittles and say, taste the rainbow. And I don't mean eat Skittles. I have to clarify with all of my patients because I'm afraid they're gonna say, okay, Kara said to eat Skittles.
Especially when it's kiddos.
Yes. So it means have a variety of colors. So a really simple thing for adults to do for their kids and to help them is have at least 2 different colors at their meal. That's a good start. Pick one habit, change it, make sure that you're good with it. So it might take weeks or months. You might take a whole year packing lunches to really get in the groove of it and find the way that you think is best for you. But change one thing at a time. So if you're not used to packing lunches, you're used to throwing in a Lunchable, start small.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
So what should we be thinking about if we have a kid that is really picky, or maybe you pack the lunch and you think you're doing all the things right, but it comes home with you?
So that's very discouraging for parents. I fight with my almost 4-year-old still. He did not want to eat a little tiny piece of broccoli last night. So the thing that you can do most is keep introducing it. And just like adults, we know how we like to eat broccoli. We know how we like to eat asparagus. We know how we like to eat any kind of meat. So introduce it in different ways and keep packing it. It doesn't have to be a whole brand new meal, but pack one new thing at least once a week or once a day. And again, it's about what works for you.
Do you have any thoughts on when we want to make it a little bit more creative or make it more fun?
So a lot of the things you see on Pinterest or online are people making fun shapes and all kinds of things, which is great if you have the time.
Yeah.
But a lot of parents don't have the time. So it's okay to do it, but don't feel pressure that you have to. This is not about being perfect. It's about introducing new foods to your kids. But things like ants on a log, which is a very traditional thing that a lot of people had when they were kids. Even my parents had when they were kids. Making a bunny using carrots and maybe a blueberry for the whiskers and the nose, right? So all of these different things can work, and some kids aren't going to care and not want it. So it kind of depends on the age, which kind of reminds me that I have these bento boxes.
Yeah.
And when you open them up, so this one is a kid size, so it's each in compartments, and then it has this rubber so it keeps it sealed. So if your kids don't like things touching, find something like this or individual things. But also if you have a bigger one, you have more options because this part comes out. But these are great options. They can be heated if you take the middle part out.
And it connects probably to the portion sizing.
Yes, and it can. So you can add things to it. You can make it your own. Really, it's just about how parents make it work for them, because what works for me doesn't work for everybody.
Wonderful food for thought. Thank you so much for joining us.
After years of training future teachers, a local woman is taking her love of early education to the page.
She's now a published author, using her first children's book to share life lessons of persistence and problem solving. We're sitting down today with author and educator Julia Kaloch. You are fresh off the book launch. This has got to be a really exciting time. Talk to us about what's going through your head right now.
A little bit of everything, actually. It's very exciting to know that, I've accomplished this goal that took over a year to achieve, and then kind of surreal all at the same time.
So tell us a little bit about the story, the adventures of Mrs. Crocus and Ivy.
Right. Well, Mrs. Crocus and Ivy are two best friends. One of them just happens to be a dog that drives a car and talks and plays the drums. But Mrs. Crocus and Ivy are just this quirky little duo who run into these obstacles that require them to use a great deal of cooperation and persistence and creativity to get through those events that they encounter. So the story title, Ivy is actually a real person in my life. She is my niece. When she was about 3 or so, started to refer to her beagle that they had in their home as Mrs. Crocus. None of us know why. We still don't know. She's now 5, is unable to tell us why Mrs. Crocus, but that was the name she gave her. And during those days, she would tell us all these crazy stories about what she and Mrs. Crocus would do. So that's really where the inspiration for the book came.
Generally with children's books, there's an underlying lesson. There's something you're trying to teach children and families. What is that in this one?
The themes in this book really are about friendship and persistence and working together, being critical thinkers. They have to really be patient with one another as they go through these little obstacles that they encounter. So those are the things I hope that children and families will take from it.
I'm curious about your writing process. What does it look like to produce something like this?
I think it was it was definitely in my head for at least a year, just tossing around ideas. That led to a little bit of maybe I really do want to make this into a book, which then led to a giant piece of chart paper in the dining room where when I thought of ideas, I'd put it down. But I also had markers around to have, my family, like, what do you guys think? So it really was this process of coming up with plausible ideas. I knew that I wanted the book to just be absurd. I just wanted it to be silly. I didn't go into writing the book with the thought that I needed it to teach a lesson. I didn't want it to be preachy. So it was really more about this ridiculousness of these two friends. So then once the ideas actually started to sound like, gosh, this really could be a book, I just had to start putting it on paper, just take the plunge and say, this is going to be real and commit to it.
Behind you, there are lots of books. So you've done a lot of research into the children's book realm. 2,000?
At one point, I had probably over 2,000 picture books. Yeah. So when my husband and I first got married, we lived in the Boston area and, of course, didn't have children right away. So, he was busy in grad school and I was busy teaching kindergarten. And one of my dear friends and I would spend our weekends in Harvard Square. We would just go into the brick and mortar bookstores and we would sit on the floor and take out the picture books and share and get excited, and then always have this difficult decision at the end of each bookstore, which ones are coming home with us. And needless to say, I might have gotten carried away with how many actually came home. That is truly where I think my love for reading came. Books are critical, right, in the world of education. I fell in love with picture books. And first, it was very much about what the visuals were, the illustrations. I just found myself loving the art, partly because I can't draw. And so anyone that can, anyone that can do that visual beauty, I just fall in love. And then that just led to me reading books and loving books that had really wonderful language in them. So that's where it all started.
Okay, so what's next for you and potentially Mrs. Crocus? Is there something next?
Well, there is, yes. I don't want to reveal too much, but yes, there are numerous sequels in the series to be coming. This one centers around the challenge of getting to the music store. We will then move on to some other adventures, things that young children can really relate to, things centered around going to school and those sorts of things. So there are quite a few more adventures that they'll be sharing with you.
And you can find her book now on Amazon as well as juliacalochbooks.com.
City services for those most in need could get a big boost from this year's United Way campaign. The nonprofit set its fundraising goal in true pep rally style at Purdue's Ross-Ade Stadium. The United Way of Greater Lafayette aims to raise $4.5 million this year. and all of that money stays local. The campaign benefits 25 local agencies that fight hunger, support mental illness, address housing insecurity, promote literacy, bolster youth development, and much more.
One thing I love about the United Way campaign is it's entirely local. So when we give to the United Way campaign, we're giving local, we're taking care of our own, we're putting our own community's oxygen mask on first.
The effort has already pulled in $650,000, thanks in large part to fundraising pushes from local employers and businesses. There's still plenty of time to give. We'll have a closer look at the impact in future episodes.
They say home is where the heart is, so why not make it one you adore? Whether you're looking to renovate your home, give it a little refresh, or you're starting from scratch, we're turning to the pros today to get a bit of advice. We're here now with design expert Amy Smith-Phillips of Lafayette Custom Interiors. Amy, I want to talk about trends. As we look forward into this fall, winter season, what do you anticipate leading the way?
One trend, I guess, that covers many facets of the design world would just be warmth. So previously, you know, everybody remembers when gray and white was huge.
Oh, yes.
Then that kind of transpired into a lot of black and white, more of like a stark contrast between finishes, linear, just harder lines, things like that. Now we're seeing, we have been for a while, warmer colors, warmer textures, and even here locally, I've been seeing clients that are more open to that. In some of the more construction-based projects, we still are using lighter, like white oak, you know, maybe wood floors, but I have clients that are open to a darker stain for an island or a vanity or something like that. Also bringing in more color. Again, it seems like locally, shades of green, people are really open to that, especially again in kitchens, bathrooms. And then I would say in the furnishing part of the design world, definitely again, like a layering of color and texture. If we have a sofa that's neutral, it seems like it's a warmer neutral and doesn't have those cool gray undertones as it did before.
Of course, in addition to trends, it's almost more important to think about things that are timeless. When we're investing in our home, what are some things that clients and homeowners should be thinking of?
I would say, and I might be biased, but in general, hiring a designer is always, I think, a great investment. In a way, yes, it is maybe adding to your budget to find that space, you know, to cover those fees. But at the end of the day, you know, my job as a designer is really to make sure that the end product is functioning for you, it's aesthetically pleasing, and it's within your budget. So if we get through the process of, say, designing your living room, and in the end it's a little over budget, then it's my job to say, okay, what can we modify to make sure that we're within budget, but also not compromising the overall look and feel. So it's not like you're then doing without something, it's maybe just making a change to something.
Now, my last question connects very well with that, and it's the fact that when we're doing a design project, sometimes just getting started can feel completely overwhelming. If somebody's watching this and they're about to make those first steps, what should they be thinking of?
I think the best thing really is to come to that first meeting with one, yes, your likes and what you'd like to see in the space, but also what you don't like. So if you think about the home you're living in now and what's not functioning for you, and it could even be really small things like placement of the shower faucet, or, you know, things that you're every day like, oh, this is kind of in the way when I'm at the dishwasher, or whatever it might be. Some of those things that just bother you on a day-to-day basis, for me, are really big clues into how I can design the space to better suit your needs. And then, of course, what you do like. And so I think Pinterest or Instagram, all of those places are a great place to find inspiration, and then to bring that to me or whoever you might be working with, or even if it's yourself, to kind of look and see what are the reoccurring like trends and themes in those images that maybe we can take and implement into your home.
Fantastic. Well, such fun inspiration. Thank you very much, Amy.
Yeah, thank you.
And of course, you can find her right downtown. We have all of her contact information listed right here on your screen. grab your running shoes and mark your calendar. There's a fun new way to support fire prevention in the area. Joining me now is Lafayette Fire Chief Brian Alkire to tell us more about this 5K. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, so the 5K is just a great way for the community to support the fire department through our 501c3 foundation, the Fire Department Support Foundation, and a fun family event.
So tell us more about the foundation and what it does in the community.
So the foundation was started back in 2023, and it was a mechanism, and we have a great community that supports the fire department and wants to support the fire department. And before the foundation, there wasn't really a mechanism in place for members of the community to provide financial funding to the fire department. So with the foundation, that money goes directly to the fire department to use for fire prevention, support of firefighters. We provide gifts for firefighters as they retire, but also we're on a campaign to raise funds to provide individual thermal cameras for each firefighter while they're working.
With those cameras, why are they so important and so helpful?
So the cameras see through the smoke when it's dark and smoky, and generally right now we have one per crew, and these will give each firefighter the ability to see through the smoke. If they get lost or separated from their crew, they'll have the device on their air pack where they can use that to look to find their way out.
So the 5K on Fire for Our Firefighters coming up September 13th. What do people need to know?
So it's at Station 5. The race route is going to be through McCall Park and through Munger Park. You know, it's a great way. The city has just invested new trails in the McCall Park, so they'll get to see those new trails. Come out with the family. It's just a fun 5K walk or run.
And I would imagine lots of feelings of connection, the chance to see some firefighters, especially for little people, is exciting.
Absolutely. The kids will be able to see the firefighters, see the fire trucks. They'll be able to climb on the fire trucks and see the lights and sirens.
And still time to register.
We'll have time all the way up till right before the race at 9 o'clock to register.
Okay, well, we have all of that information right here on your screen. We hope to see you out there September 13th. Obesity. It's a not-so-hidden health problem here in the state of Indiana. The Hoosier State has the 9th highest obesity rate in the country, nearly 44%. So what can we do about it? Dr. Seema Kangari, Tippecanoe County's health officer and an epidemiologist, has some thoughts on that, and one of them is starting frank and honest conversations. Why is it so important to get talking about this?
Obesity is a complex chronic condition that can have lifetime impact on one's health. The obesity rate is around 44% for our state, and for Tippecanoe County itself, as per 2023 data, it's around 41%. So very slightly better than the overall state average, but still a major issue that we all should have deep conversation on.
Now, one thing you wanted to talk about was busting some myths. So why don't we begin with the first? Myth 1 is that people with obesity just need to try harder.
It's not just inaccurate, but can cause harm. It can lead to shame and stigma. Obesity is multifactorial, chronic, complex issue. We want everyone to get compassionate, evidence-based help when it comes to obesity.
Yeah, and it's easy to lose the willpower if you're hearing that kind of message.
Absolutely. It can be biological, psychological, socioeconomic factors, medical conditions itself, such as, PCOS, Cushing's syndrome, could be medications that they're on that could be causing them to gain weight. So it's definitely very important for us to bust that myth.
Okay, number 2, if it runs in your family, there's nothing you can do about it.
I'd love to bust that myth. Yes, genetics can have some effect on, metabolism, hunger hormones, and fat distribution. However, genetics doesn't mean destiny. We can change it with changing the lifestyle factors.
Okay, third, eat less, move more. It's that simple, which we know it is not.
Each one of us is different, so it's very important for anyone experiencing obesity to talk to their healthcare provider about, what could be one of the reasons that they're experiencing obesity, like assessments, lab testing, their family history, medications they're on, and having established that, we can find a solution that fits them.
And fourth on our list, BMI is the perfect measurement of health.
This is absolutely inaccurate because BMI is just a simple calculation with weight related to the height, and this does not reflect the overall health. The BMI does not differentiate between the fat and the muscle. It doesn't take into account the visceral fat, which is the fat distributed inside the gut, inside the abdominal area, versus the subcutaneous fat. There are other measures that could be used: body composition, knowing the waist to hip ratio, waist circumference, and other measures.
Number 5, supplements and trendy diets burn fat fast.
The supplement industry, as you all know, is a big billion-dollar industry. Supplements using few weeks or months will not make so much of a difference, and in some situations can be absolutely harmful. Certain supplements, such as green tea supplements, doing excess of those can cause liver damage, and there are other supplements that could be harmful in other ways. So it's always important to talk to your doctor and figure out what is the best solution for you.
So moving on now to myth number 6, weight loss meds are a quick fix. You start them and then you stop.
GLP agonists are injections that are marketed. We have seen good effects with it, especially people who have metabolic issues. Those have to be taken chronically, because if you stop them, you will be gaining back the weight. But you can work with your healthcare provider who is prescribing the medication, because they can titrate the dose according to your needs for the chronic maintenance.
The fix for obesity is one size fits all.
It has to fit the problem. Okay, so if it is metabolic, then solution will lie along those lines, fixing the underlying problem. If the problem is a thyroid issue, then fixing the thyroid issue becomes important. If someone has psychological issues leading to obesity, like trauma, eating disorders, or medications that they're on, like antidepressant, antipsychotics, or anti-seizure medicine, some of them can cause obesity. So it's very important for each person that the solution is tailored according to their problem.
Next on the list, 8, diet food products will help you lose weight.
Sometimes the diet products will be counterproductive. There is some studies to show that it can work in the brain satiety center, which is a satisfaction center, and not make you feel satisfied with the amount of food that you have eaten. So it could actually lead to overeating, and also it can lead to false sense of satisfaction that you're doing something about it.
Myth number 9, you need to live in a big city to seek help for obesity.
We have many different resources that are available. With the Franciscan Physician Network, we have a Better Way of Life program. With IU, they have a medical weight loss and bariatric program, and there are many other private organizations that have clinics that offer services for obesity.
And last on the list, once you lose weight, it should stay off easily.
I wish it would be true.
Yeah.
Just like how we treat diabetes, hypertension, asthma, which are chronic medical conditions, obesity is a chronic medical condition which needs appropriate care and treatment. Again, compassion and science.
If you would like additional information and resources about obesity, we have a link to the Tippecanoe County Health Department website right here on your screen. Thank you so much, Doctor.
If you have a story you'd like to see in our next episode of Life on the Wabash, send us an email, connect with us on Instagram, or subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Your voice will help drive this show, and we're eager to hear from you. Here's a look at when you can find us next.
Brought to you in partnership with Purdue University Brian Lamb School of Communication and NBC 16 Lafayette, a Star City TV station.